Alright there, well, I lost an interior light, so me and Rev were coming out of Texas. We're coming up to Louisville. We have plate steel going to Peterbilt. It's corrugated steel that goes on the back right behind the cabs for like catwalks for your airlines and all that. Stainless steel. And when I was coming out of Tennessee, I crossed the border into Kentucky, and that first rest area, something was telling me to pull over, and I didn't. And at that time, on my phone, it was showing I was going to be 43 minutes to the delivery. As I passed the rest area, about a mile up, my phone, the time went into yellow, because it's usually green if you're going to be on time. It went into yellow, and it went up to like an hour and 38 or something like that. And I'm like, well, I'm going to check the maps. Maybe there was an accident. Well, in the meantime, I've been keeping up with the weather, because I knew there was going to be snow coming in. So the weather app showed 4 p.m. At the Pilot truck stops when you fill up. Well, I don't drive big trucks right now. I'm primarily van. When you fill up on the TV screen, it'll show the weather. That weather said 4 p.m. So I was like, well, we're just going to go with the flow and see what this is about. Because I figured, well, if there's an accident, like a semi-truck rollover or whatever, you know, it might take a little time to get on the map. Now, 65, when you get close to Louisville, is some very, very rough interstate. Almost just as bad as Illinois, if not worse. And I have seen trucks go off the road, be on their side. So I was figuring, well, when enough people report it, which will be in a very short while, like within minutes, it's going to show up. You know, that section of road is going to turn yellow or red. You know, when I was going to Texas, there was a Landstar semi-truck that was on its side, and I moved at like 3 miles an hour for, God almighty, 2 hours. And once again, here we go, you know, I'm in between Nashville and Memphis. There's no side roads. It's all farmland. There's nowhere you can get off to, you know, get on a side street and get on a secondary highway. So I just dealt with it. So that's what I was kind of figuring. I wasn't expecting to see snow. So it starts flurrying, and I'm following a Greyhound bus. You know, I'm leaving a pretty good distance. He's a good 500 yards ahead of me. He's doing 45, 40. I'm doing about 45, 40. And you get these little spurts where he'd go up to 50. I'd go up to 50. And all of a sudden, it's like you get right on that edge of the storm. You know, it's just like the snow is just coming down. You know, as you look at it, it almost feels like you're at a standstill. And I knew there was a pilot coming up, because when I worked for Tri-States, Fusion, BHX, and that's not all by choice, that's because the owners switched their lease or contract. I knew this pilot. I hung out at this pilot many times. So I was like, well, we're going to get up to that pilot, and we're going to call it. Because a load was supposed to deliver on Monday at 8 a.m. But once I got loaded in Texas, they wanted it anywhere between 5 in the morning and noon today. So as I'm coming up to this pilot, I could see the light, the glow of the sign. I'm like, yep, there it is. And it's like the moment I thought that, I look in the mirror and I see this semi-truck just 65, at least 65 miles an hour, maybe 70, I don't know, I don't have a radar, but that's what I'm anticipating. Just blows past me, blowing snow all over the road, blows past the Greyhound bus. About the time he got to that Greyhound bus, he was spreading snow all over the place. I think that's pretty much what contributed to this. I lost it. I hit either his snow where I hit black ice. I spun 3-4 times around, and I almost recovered it. Wound up hitting the wall 15 miles an hour. And it's like, man, it's like, usually when my gut tells me to do something, I usually do it. But I was so in tune with getting that load there when they wanted it. And then looking at the map and not seeing obstructions on the road, I was actually starting to think that's actually an accident. I wasn't expecting to see snow. So I'm kicking myself for not pulling over at that rest area, because I don't like explaining, especially to dispatch, why the load's late. But then again, on a different note, there's no load that's worth a life. Now, if there was exits from that rest area to this pilot, I definitely would have got off when that snow was coming down like it was. And I would have just hung out on a side street, a road less traveled. There's nothing in between this rest area and this pilot. There's nothing. But there was nowhere for me to get off. There was only one other time I've seen snow like that, where it actually feels like you're not even driving. It's almost like you're sitting still. You're technically moving at 45, 50 miles an hour, but the snow's coming down so hard, you get dizzy. You actually feel like you're sitting still. It's coming down that hard. And that was in Michigan. That was over by Lake Michigan. And I don't know. I was still kind of lost for words. So the first thing I did was check out the dog, I'm worried about him more than I am worried about me. So the whole day I'm getting out, doing stretches every hour, make sure I'm nothing pulled, take him outside. He wants to play in the snow. He wants to jump around, do his rolling in the snow. Like when he sees snow, he'll get up on the snow, he'll just stand still, and then he'll just fall off to the side and then roll in it. So I kind of know that both me and him, it's been 18 hours. I pretty much know that we're pretty much good. But man, I'll tell you. And then it was quite ironic, because I wasn't going to go back on Facebook. But working for this company, I decided to go back on Facebook. And I really don't have my page built up quite yet. And it was really funny because the original breeder, when I had Lucy, Midget, and Jude, actually found me. And found a friend that I'm friends with, contacted him, was able to get my phone number, and we talked for 30-40 minutes. But she's seen me on WTTW Chicago from my interview 3 years ago, which I kind of like. I knew it was there, but I thought it was just going to stay in Florida. I thought it was just going to stay on broadcast TV in Florida. I didn't think it was going to go all over the nation. So I was a little shocked to hear that. But she doesn't do breeding anymore, but she's seen pictures of Rob, and Rob gets compliments everywhere he goes. I don't get any compliments. Rob gets it all. But yeah, I just bought nail clippers again. Probably my 15th pair. I just keep leaving them in other trucks and vans, and I just have to keep buying him. Brushed his teeth this afternoon. He got his cookie, his springtime cookie from PetSmart. But yeah, I'm still in shock, but I'm calmed down now, knowing that both me and him are okay. But I'll tell you, when I was spinning around, I'm like, here we go. I'm going to the hospital. I was going to the emergency vet. I just couldn't believe it. you know, I look at the times I worked on the railway, the times I was working on Itasca. You know, when I was working on the well, specifically when I worked for Illinois RailNet, that was a 78-mile drive one way. The snowstorms that I've driven through. And then tow trucks. I drove tow trucks on and off for at least 15 years. Yeah, I remember working at the RailNet and driving tow trucks at the same time. I get off working from the railway, I go straight to Top Line Towing, go tow, kind of extended cab international, pull cars out of the ditches, cars of the Firestone, and then I would pull the truck around the back, keep it idling through the night, and I would just sleep in the back seat. Wake up in the morning, I'd be back off to Ottawa, Illinois to grab my train. I can't believe all the snowstorms and blizzards I've driven through, and then this happens. But it's like the company said, the owner said, you know, the truck can be replaced, the truck can be repaired. A person can't, a dog can't. I feel bad, but I'm seeing her point, but I still feel bad about this because I could have prevented this. Definitely could have prevented this if I would have just pulled over at that damn rest area. But it's done. It's a done deal, you know. And learn from mistakes. Can't go back and do it over again. But I'll tell you one thing, you know, I drove through Kansas 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I got through Kansas City before that blizzard hit. I dropped my load, and then I was actually in my t-shirt, took Rev for a walk. There was no pilot in Wichita, so we stopped at Love's. Rev was playing in the dog park, and then I took him on a pretty good long walk. And then I wake up, and it's like snowing and cold. You know, I stayed at that Love's for 2 or 3 days before I moved down to Oklahoma. Because I knew after a while I wasn't going to get anything. Wichita used to be, when I was working for Tri-States and Fusion, Oklahoma was great. Or no, Wichita was great. And then when I got at BHX, it's like Wichita just died out. You can't get a load. And an expedite, man, you can't get a load out of Wichita. I mean, if you can, but boy, I'll tell you, you're going to get an awfully cheap rate. You know, there's industry there, but it's a lot of farming co-ops. Oklahoma is like the better place. Start heading towards Oklahoma City, which I think that's where I got a load out of after I went to Firestone. But man, I'm just hoping that quarter panel can be replaced. You know, I'm more familiar with Astro vans that were like a solid, but this one here, it's got parting lines, so I'm pretty sure that fender can be replaced. But I just like, I don't have accidents. I don't get in accidents. So this just took me by surprise. You know, I'm still going to deliver my load. Still going to deliver tomorrow morning. Me and Rob are going to take out of here midnight, 1 a.m. I'll be up there by 2. I'm going to take some secondary highways to get up there, some side streets. And then after that, we'll just have to get the tail light repaired. I'll just wean it up to Michigan. I don't know. Unreal. But I guess if you drive every day cross country, something's going to happen sometime. It's just my name was pulled out of the hat. But I'll tell you what, you know, following that Greyhound bus gave me a lot of comfort. But that semi coming past me doing 65, 70, I think that's what, I'm not going to say he made the problem, but I think it contributed to that problem. But yeah, I'm going to catch a nap. I'm going to head out, get this stuff delivered, so at least they got, you know. I'm one of those type of drivers, when I have somebody's product on my truck and I can't get it there, That's on my conscience. Because I got somebody else's merchandise. That's not my merchandise. That doesn't belong to me. I didn't buy it. I didn't pay for it. I picked that up at my shipper that my receiver bought, and I am the one liable for it getting that. So I just feel bad. Other drivers would just walk this off, I suppose. You know, a couple people I've been talking to. Oh yeah, well, it's just a load. Yeah, but it's somebody else's product. But it's also my life and my dog's life, which can't be replaced. I see that point. But man, I should have pulled over at that rest area. And I'm usually good about that. I am usually good about that. Rain coming down so hard, I'll pull over. Snow coming down that hard, I'd pull over. But nothing on the app said it was going to snow at 4 a.m. Even at the pilot pumps, it said 4 p.m. Well, I'm out.